Hi guys! You may know me from my Goodwill clothing haul. But today I'm going to be doing a storytime video, ignore that, of how I went off-roading with my minivan. So I'll just go into depth a little bit. No, it was not a Jeep, not a vehicle that you should go off-roading with, but it was in fact a Toyota minivan that went off-roading, yes. So let's get into it, and I'm gonna do my makeup while I tell you the story. We're going to a pool party, so the eyeshadow could come off a little bit, so I'm just gonna do a little bit, like the lightest bit possible. And let's get into it. So basically, I wanted to hike up this mountain that is local to us, like an hour out, but we were there and I've been wanting to go. We decided to go. I was driving and I was like, we should drive to the summit. So I was driving, cruising. Views were beautiful, you know. Hey, this is me editing. I left out an important detail, is that we didn't make it to the summit because Matt was like, I really want to go home, I'm really tired. We had a long day. So I was like, okay. So at this point, we are currently trying to drive down the mountain. And we went down a road that the GPS told us to get home. We were like, it's a little rocky. This is a little tough, you know. This is what I was thinking. It's a little tough, like, it's a little difficult to try and get through. All rocks, basically all rocks, and they're getting bigger. And it's like, okay, this started as pebbles, and now we're starting to see, not quite boulders, but like, some big rocks. Probably best to not drive through with a minivan. Next, I'm doing the e.l.f. Shimmer Highlighting Powder in the shade Sunset Glow. I just want to like glisten and glimmer, you know, when the sun hits me, just like, ooh, this little shine. Where were we? The rocks were increasing in size. Hi, it's me again. The reason we didn't turn back around is because basically we were driving for probably like 10 to 15 minutes before any huge rocks started coming up. So we had already gone really far, maybe like almost halfway, and we were like, it can't be that bad. It can't get any like much worse than this, you know? So we're like, let's just do it. And we got past a certain point where it was like, if we turn back now, it might just take the same amount of time it would take if we just kept going. Which, if we knew about the boulder, maybe we would have turned back around. Don't want to spoil anything. But, yeah, so that's why we kept going. I was doing okay. I was driving. I was able to make it over the rocks, kind of get through this crazy terrain. I was losing hope a little bit, definitely freaking out also a little bit. My passenger, Matt, was indeed kind of freaking out, but holding it in when we encroached on a particular rock that I couldn't quite pass without damaging the underneath of my car, which I was close to doing, on the brink of many times. I heard rocks scrape the bottom of my car. It was okay so far. There was one point in the middle of this where there was a huge puddle. We drove through it. Matt got a little worried. There was a noise, and he thinks that something got flooded underneath there. I don't know car technical terms, but something got flooded, and he was like, okay, you gotta just speed through the puddles or else the car is gonna drown, basically. So I sped through them really quick, and then eventually we got to that rock that I could not pass. And up ahead of us was a boulder, definitely a boulder, just right there. And it was basically like boulder and a little bit of a path. So what we had to do was slant and drive over that boulder, which is not an easy task. Yes, so when I couldn't pass that little rock, Matt was like, let's trade places. So we traded places. And he indeed took on the boulder that was right up ahead of us. He drove. I was a bit nervous, but he did it. He drove over the boulder without damage to Bertha, who is my car, by the way. I did not introduce her yet, but Bertha's my car. She's my minivan. She's the main gal in this story. But let's get into mascara. Okay, so now I'm gonna use this little guy. It looks like a torture device, but it feels pretty nice. And then we're gonna do a little swipey swipe. Perfect. All right, next step. Lip whip as blush. So back to the story. Matt passed over the boulder. Once again, not in a Jeep, but kind of made me think that I should have one if I want to go off-roading. Okay, so to continue the story, Matt passed over the boulder, and some people on some like motorbikes, whatever you call it, off-road vehicles, passed us. They were coming from the other direction, and they just looked at us like, yeah, rock on, man. The last guy passing gave us a thumbs up. We're like, yeah, please save us. I don't know how you would, because how do you get out of that situation? We just had to keep driving. So that's exactly what we did. We finally got to a spot where we saw another car was parked, and it gave us some hope. Took a weight off our shoulders. We were like, okay, I think we're in the clear now. It was a scary situation. We weren't finished yet though. So now I'm gonna do some blush. It is Lip Whip by Cary Grant. Looks like a fancy container. So I'm just dipping this in here. Boop, boop, boop. I could put it on my lips, but I'm gonna put it on my cheeks just to get like a little bit of a blush. Boop. Oh, one part of the story that I did forget to mention about is, I'll give you a little prologue to the story. I know it's at the end, but before we started driving over the off-roading site that we ended up on, that was definitely not for vehicles, like regular vehicles. But I was driving up, it was beautiful, we saw this beautiful view. I was like, oh my god, I need to pull over. I didn't pull over in the spot that you could pull over, I kept driving, and I was like, wait a minute. And then my passenger, Matthew, was like, just back up, we can park there. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I started backing up. I did hit a tree. My back right light was busted in. So let's get into lips. I have this e.l.f. lip plumper, and you just pump it until your desired output, which I'd say is right there. Lip liner. NYX matte finish. This is the whole makeup look. It is complete. Let me see if I can... I just have a lamp. But to end the story, once we saw that car, it was just kind of smooth sailing from there. we weren't as worried and there weren't any more huge boulders. We were like, if a car made it through here, we're good. And we were. We got through, we ended up on the other side, and we were fine. As for Bertha, her back tail light was busted. Her butt wasn't coming off, but her side booty was falling off. So, not great. Her tummy got scratched a little bit. She's got some scratches, but she's okay. She made it out. So did we. That's the story of how I went off-roading with my minivan. I will be going to the pool now with this makeup look. Bye-bye.